جول كيبر حارس. بينالتي ما بلنتي، بينالتي. وش ذي؟ تاكتكس، تكتيك، تاكتكس. لازم كتب تاكتكس. جول كيبر، جول كيبر. لازم تغمض عيونك معها. ابوي ضروري يتعلم بعض الكلمات لان ضيفنا اليوم ما يتكلم الا انجليزي، وانا شوي الكلمات عرفت اتكلم انجليزي بس ما اعرف ياخذ الكلمات في كرة القدم. جول كيبر. عاد اليوم ضيفنا موصين عليه مليون وصية، التريليون وصية. لا تعصبه، لا تناكشه، لا تزعقه، لا تنرفزه بأي سؤال، حاول تسأل أسئلة جدا دبلوماسية، حاول راعيه، ما تعصبه أبدا. هاو تستفزه، هاو تستفزه، ترى هذا بيورطنا، هذا بيسوي شيء ما تتخيل. هو نوعا ما وافقهم بصراحة، لأنه أنا دورت 100 صورة حاله في الإنترنت ما حصلت ولا واحدة يضحك، بغيت واحدة بس أشوف يضحك ما يضحك. كيف أنا عاد بحاول أصابع عمري وما أستفز قدر الإمكان. وبعد لا فوق كذا الرجال ما يتكلم عربي، لازم أكلم إنجليزي. كيف ما أعرف؟ بنشوف لنا طريقة. نروح له، يلا. Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, here, yes. Oh, جاي الكوتش. ما طلعنا ننزل نوقفه بعده. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank
Was
you.
everything?
All good.
Good.
And with you?
I'm fantastic. Yeah, exactly. So, always buckling up?
I think.
Always buckling up, huh?
Yeah, I think everything is working.
Yes, it is. I think the AC is a bit hot. So how do you find the weather anymore?
Now it starts to be a little bit difficult, eh?
Yeah.
For European standards. But I will survive, don't worry. It's a matter of stay inside as much as possible, huh?
Yeah. So, were you here in the summer last year also?
Yes, I was. So
The highest degree you witnessed?
I think it was 47 last year when I was here. 47 by day, and then even in the evening it starts to. There were some games that I thought, okay, this is very difficult to play football now because of the humidity more, the heat. Okay, you can survive that, of course, enough drinks, and referees give you the possibilities with injuries and things like that. Take a drink But the humidity is very difficult to handle. That was last year, a few times. I remember we had a match in the police stadium, and I think I was the only one in the stadium, by the way. And I think everybody
the only one
made a good decision to stay at home because it was unbelievable. It was so hot.
You were asking yourself, why did I do this?
No. I'm there for the players, and I think you have to respect the players. The national team coach is coming. They want to see them play. And of course, I know the difficult circumstances. And so the good part is that I'm here already now 1.5 years. Okay. So I know my players, I know what they can do. I'm just looking for them. I try to find better players. That's my job at the moment. See how the players are doing and try to find out if I can find any better players.
Okay. So we welcome you at the beginning, Coach Fierbik. It's a great pleasure having you with us today. Excuse us for this humble studio. It's just the idea we take our guests to, in a taxi ride, let's say,
Good.
and just take them around the place, and maybe just to make them feel comfortable enough to maybe answer some of the sensitive questions they wouldn't, answer in a normal studio.
Okay.
So everything is fine.
Are there sensible questions today? Yeah, you think so?
Not that much, no. Just some normal questions that anybody would ask.
I'm easygoing, so I tell you what I think.
فانتاستيك. إذا الكوتش يقول لكم إن أموره طيبة وإن شاء الله بيجاوب على كل أسئلتنا بكل أريحية لأن يقول ما في شيء أخبيه. First coach, the Omani audience, let's say the Omani fans, are dying to see you smile.
Okay, now they did. Now they did.
Because even when you celebrate, scoring a goal, you just, very humble when it comes to. They die to see you like, celebrating like Jose Mourinho or club maybe.
Yeah,
taking a slide maybe.
Okay. That's my character. I don't want to be somebody else, and I am who I am, and that's. I'm enjoying, of course. I'm enjoying to win. I'm enjoying when we score goals, and very much, of course, because it's my job to make players better, to get results. So of course I'm happy with the results, but everybody shows it in a different way.
Yeah. But maybe Omanis show their happiness in different,
Yeah, no. I think a lot of people show a difference, but okay.
Didn't they teach you some of some of the cheer ups or?
No. But you should not forget we are, especially during the Gulf Cup. I don't use the word pressure too much because that's the way it is. But it's my job to see the team play, try to find out how we can do better, or if we have any problems, or do I need to change any players. So I think it's more about concentration, and it's very difficult then immediately after the game just to do something else. And but I will never be a guy like Klopp. I know
Klopp is too much, huh?
I know Klopp already for 15 years when he was in Germany, in Mainz. He has always been like that, and that's good because he is himself, and that's what I think you should do. Because in the end, I think players and everybody will see immediately when you are acting, when you play a game and play a role, and that's not my style.
Okay, so coach, somebody say that you rarely go on interviews. Is there any reason behind that? I mean,
No.
we got you here today, but so many people, you rarely go to the press and talk about things related to the national team.
Yeah, but nobody asked me.
Nobody.
No, nobody asked me for interviews. So yeah, so if
That's
I'm
something
not,
new. We get it for the first time. So
I gave a few interviews because I never say no to an interview. But okay, so far probably they're afraid of me, I think.
you never refused an interview?
No. Why should I? I think interview, and I think the fans and everybody deserve to know what's happening. Okay, you cannot. If there's nothing to tell, there's nothing to tell. But then I can say also, sorry, at this moment there's nothing to tell. But I have never refused any interviews, and so you can ask the PR, like Ahmed, you will ask him if anything. Mm-hmm. Because when he asked me about this, I said, yeah, no problem at all.
So, coach, before you went to the Golf Cup, before going to the Golf Cup, you went and told the press that, or Oman in general, you told them that I don't promise you anything, but you won the Golf Cup. So, is that because you don't want to raise the expectations among Omanis, or is this a strategy you are playing?
No, I try to be realistic, and the reality is if you go to a tournament that you never know how good the opponents are. So you can say, okay, we have a good team, not only a good team, I think we have a good selection. But I don't know how good Saudi Arabia is or the Emirates at that moment. So you can say, okay, I go there and going to win the tournament. But I think that's a little bit disrespectful to the opponents also, because we had a very strong team. So then it's better to say, okay, we cannot promise anything. We just do our best. We do maximum what we can do. And during the tournament, you're going to find out how good the teams are you're going to play against and how good your own team is. Because you never know. You can have a fantastic preparation, but the moment the first game is there and there's pressure and there are fans and there's media, then you never know exactly how the players can handle that kind of pressure. So we always have to be a little bit, how you say, humble. I think that's good also. But we're not hiding because we knew we had a good team and a good selection. But okay, we still have to show it. Huh?
But some people said that maybe it was a kind of underestimation, for the team, and somehow people believed you. Some people believed you because we have almost like a new team. So did you feel the same? Like
that's exactly what I meant also. We didn't have a lot of players with international experience. And we all know how big the Gulf Cup is for the people, the area in the Gulf, of the Gulf area. So with the media, with the pressure, with everybody that's reading in social media, etc., you still have to wait how some players are going to react.
What happened, right? Omanis are wondering, what is the secret? How did that happen? Maybe some people are saying it's you. Some people are saying that this is a new generation, a new golden generation. So what is exactly the reason?
No,
Number one reason.
Golden generation is a little bit overdone at the moment if you win only one tournament. But there are quite a lot young talented players that came from the Olympic team in the past that come. We give them a lot of chances. I know that a lot of people were asking, or at least thinking about what is he doing in all those friendly matches, because I regularly changed players, used other players, invited other players. But for me, the only way to find out if a player is good enough for the national team is to have him in camp. And then working with him for 8 or 9 or 10 days and see the difference between the other players. And we had players that were immediately good enough to be in the final selection. And we had players that I thought, okay, it's good that we invited him, but at this moment he's not good enough, too young, not experienced, needs more, whatever, power, fitness, or whatever it is. So I'm building up a team. That's the most, and not only the team, because you always speak about the first 11, but for me the team is the 23 players I take in a tournament, because we need them all. Because we forget that the players who are not playing, they train very hard, they make it difficult for the starting lineup. So the better the selection is, the higher the level of your training is. And that's what I think. We had a very high level of training all the time. So I was not so worried about if the team was good or not good. I knew I only had some doubts about players who were not very experienced. And now we have experience, they have the experience. We still miss a few players we expected to be in the national team, younger players still coming. So that's the next step for these players in the upcoming 4 or 5 months, to show us that they are going to play in the league regular base, that they're going to show that they are better than the players we have.
We are so happy. We are so happy, obviously. Oman was very surprised because they did not expect that much. And maybe your statement before the Gulf Cup enforced this, more, among Omanis, that we should not expect too much from the national team, but we were so happy.
Yeah, but there was no reason to expect that you could win the Gulf Cup, is it? Because, look for the group we were playing, the Emirates, UAE. Now they had all the big name players with them. They have a bigger league, more professional players. They have experience because they play World Cup qualification, many games. Now that's the same with the Saudi team. Kuwait is the host. That's not easy, and as we all know, Kuwait, of course, had won a lot of Gulf Cups. So we knew we were in a tough group. On the other hand, that's players know that, so you cannot say, okay, it's an easy group, easy play. So they were very motivated, and we should not forget, of course, after the first game we lost. We knew we had to win 2 games, and we also need a little bit of luck. In football, you need a little bit of luck, because now Faiz picked the penalty in the 89th minute. Great save, by the way.
How did you feel? At that time?
At that time I thought it was over. And the first thing I thought, in football, you never get what you really deserve. Because I think we deserve to win that game. And then you get a penalty in the 90th minute, and I thought, okay, this is it. This is football, typically football. And then I saw, so I think everybody already thought, okay, this is over, because 99% is over. And then the great save from Vijs. And then, you know, of course, now if that happens, then you still have a chance. You can do something.
Our hearts almost stopped, you know, all of them, and even they were so happy that, you know, he's taking that penalty more than the final one.
For me, in the stadium, because you have, at that moment, you're waiting for the penalty, you look around in the stadium and think, okay, you see all our fans, they were devastated, I think, eh?
Yeah.
And then you saw the fans of the UA, and they were celebrating already, so half of the team was down and the other half of the team.
Then it's the opposite.
And exactly after the penalty, it was completely opposite.
Yeah.
So the noise, the celebration of our fans when Vijs stopped that penalty, I think that was one, for me, that was the moment of the tournament. Yeah. Okay, you want to win anyway, but just the idea that you saw the team, the fans were so excited after the stop. And it was not an easy penalty, eh? So it was a great save.
Yeah. Does it really bother you, Omanis, comparing your team, your players now with what they call the golden generation that came like 5 years ago?
Yeah, that's too early. That's too early. First of all, okay, I know your golden generation because we played with Australia against them in those days. So I know them. They did very well, very experienced. Most of the players played outside of Oman. They had more experience than my players at the moment. But I think that's too much pressure on the players also. I give them. It's one tournament.
Also?
No, because I do my job. I do what I have to do, and I make my decisions of what I see on the training and what I see in the games. So that's no, it's not a pressure at all. It's part of my job that the expectations now for the Asian Cup are for sure bigger than it was before the Gulf Cup, and I think that's fair. Because if you win the Gulf Cup, automatically people start to have bigger expectations. And I think it's normal. I have that also towards my players because we cannot hide anymore. Okay, you know, the Asian Cup is different than the Gulf Cup. Eh? Let's be honest, Japan is a different
What is the story with Japan? I mean, are we following them or are they tracking us?
I was surprised
Did you
about
expect
that
it,
before. Yeah, because everybody was telling us, I hope we don't get Japan. Yeah. So I thought, now, yeah, if you ask all the time, then probably we will get Japan. Okay, I think that's a challenge. I'm looking for a challenge. I think Japan, they try to play football. They're not a physical team. They're a football team. Like you said, the Omani players, they are skillful players, hard-working players, but skillful. We like to play, keep the ball on the ground. So I'm not so worried about Japan. I think we can play a very good game against them. Yeah. Uzbekistan is maybe a different story because they're not only good football players, but they're also strong, physically strong, different mentality. Yeah, I know the Japanese mentality. As long as it's going well, they are very good. The moment they have a little bit of a problem, they lose confidence early. But the Uzbekistan team is a different story. Yeah, you have to fight. You have to fight in that game.
They say that what you did with the national team before the Gulf Cup was excellent, especially in preparing them in a long camping, let's say training camp.
Yeah.
Also, they say that it's not. It's better than just training or playing in the Omani league because it doesn't give you that much credit more than having training camps. So what do you think?
No, I think you're right. You should not forget that when you're with the national team that you are with the best players around, and like I said, so the level of our training sessions are always on a very high level because you have 23. I normally take 23 players and 3 goalkeepers. So the 23 players, if I play team A against team B, it's always 1-0, 1-1. It's never 5-0. That gives you an idea that the whole selection is good. Yeah, so it's easy for me to change one player for another player and you don't lose too much. So in the national team you have the best players available. You can train every day with the team, and that's not what happens in the league. Of course, in the league the boys, they have to work. They are the army, they are the police, they are the government. So they cannot train like we do day in, day out, 6, 7, 8 days in a row, so then we can make up a plan. In the league and with the clubs, it's difficult, especially for the coaches to train with them because they have so many games. Yeah, they're flying from here to Dover and be back and up and down. And so it's not so easy for the club and for the coaches to prepare the players. So in the national team, we have them all together, we can train every day. And we had a very good camp in August last year where we could train 2 times a day for 3 weeks in a row. So that was the basic of the result and of the success, I think, in what we had in the Gulf Cup.
But honestly, what do you think of the Omani League? I mean, even us as fans, we are not convinced, and we are not, you know, it's very difficult for us even to answer any question about it. What do you think? You know, people need to hear it from you.
Yeah, at the moment it's clear that there's one team so much better than all the other teams. Yeah, and that's Suwek. So if you look for that team, and they have the best, not only the best team, they have the best selection, and not only because they have good players, they also play very good football. So it's not only that they have good players and automatically I see them play.
But they did very horrible in the Asian Cup.
Now that's the next question or next answer I'm going to have you. If you play 6 games in the AFC Cup, in the Asian Cup, and you have 0 points, that says also something about the international level. So if you look for the level in the league, Suwek team was by far the best. And there were some other teams that did quite very well, by the way. Al Nassr was doing very well. They tried to be Al Shabab, of course, one of those teams. Okay, Dhofar was disappointing, and I think everybody was disappointed about their results this year. But still, if you then look for the results in the AFC Cup, 6 games, 0 points, that says enough also. So that means that to play international football with all the traveling they have to make, with the different pressure there is there, that's different than playing a league than playing a league here. So, but on the end,
what do you think of the quality of our league? You know,
that's difficult. You should not compare. That's what always people try to do. Compare it.
We are not comparing. We talk
leagues.
About our league.
Yeah. Okay. Then the league can improve. Of course, every league can improve. But if I see the way a lot of teams are going to play, then I think that's absolutely not bad. They try to play. They have their own system. They try to play their own way of playing football. But I compare it with what I need in international football, and then I think, sometimes you need a little bit more, more physical, more cleverness. To don't give the ball. I see yesterday also a game, and I think one of the teams was leading 1-0, and it's the 89th minute. And then I should say, okay, keep the ball in the team. Don't give the ball away. Keep it in the team. Then you see it on television all the time. And then they still try to shoot on the goal from 35 meters. And that's a little bit of the difference, I think. That's a little bit more of the next step you have to make to be successful also in international football. Sometimes you have to forget about the emotion and just use your head and say, okay, I like to attack at this moment, but maybe it's better to keep the ball on the team. Try to keep it, control the game, and take the 3 points. Okay, for the last 5 minutes, don't do that 30 minutes in a row. But I see a lot of good games. I see also games that I think, okay, in international football, you will get punished if you play like this. Like Suwek, I think they have a very attacking team. Very only team attacking and playing and attacking, which I like. I'm from the Netherlands. We like to play attacking football. But if it's realistic in international football, in the AFC Cup, it's not, because you lose 6 games. So maybe then you should play, instead of 2 strikers, play with 1 striker.
Did you wish honestly to have Australia in our group?
No.
Maybe because you know the team more?
No, but I don't know the team so well anymore because I saw the coach of the national team of the Australian is a good friend of mine. He was my former assistant. He's a very good guy, good coach, good friend of mine. So you follow those teams. So I see the final selection now for the World Cup. There are not so many players left. Okay, we speak about 2010. That's 8 years ago. So it should be very strange if there are still many players. I think there are 3 players from my selection, but I have to be fair also. Australia has a special place in my heart. That's for sure. But on the other hand, it's great to play Oman and to play Japan. I think it's a great team. It's the best team in Asia together with Iran at the moment. So if you can play against a team like that, you can only win.
It was a great pleasure having you, Coach Fierbik. Thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure.
And let me say one thing at the end. Omanis love you so far.
Till the next game.
Exactly, till the next game. Because Omanis are very, critical when it comes to, going for the coaches. Suddenly, they love you so much, and suddenly they.
Okay,
but you are used to it.
I promise you, 4 years in Morocco. You think 40 million Moroccan people are different than Omani people?
That was more difficult, huh?
And same with South Korea, because it's all about the same. People love football, they have their own opinion. And like I said, I respect every opinion, so if they agree with me, but on the end, there's only one person that takes the final decision. That is responsible, and that's me.
Do they recognize you when you go to malls and
yeah,
selfies
but I'm
you
happy not so much so far.
Why?
Because I'd like to have a normal life. I'm okay. At the moment, most people know me, and I'm always there. I was a little bit surprised that you say about for me don't give interviews, because I'm always here. I'm open for every interview, but people should ask me. So the same now with selfies and pictures and everything, no problem at all for me. South Korea, you're the national team in South Korea, then you're like a movie star. You cannot go outside anymore. That's not life. There's no life.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Coach.
My pleasure.
It was a great pleasure having you.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. طبعا اليوم استمتعت في المقابله مع الكوتش فيربيك، والرجال ما عصبي، بالعكس يضحك ويقول لكم انا اسوي مقابلات في اي وقت تبيوني، وفي نفس الوقت قال ان نحب العمانيين. قلنا له شوف كوتش فيربيك، نحن نحبك، العمانيين يحبوك، لين المباراه القادمه خير، تفوز معاك، ما تفوز شيء حنفكر. بس وش رايكم في لغتي الانجليزيه؟ اعجبكم؟ هم اصحاب التكاسي كذا ترى، على فكره ما تمشكلهم اللغه الانجليزيه، حتى اللهجه الرياضيه ما عليكم منه نقدر يعني. بس حاس انه بيطلبني قريب مساعد له، ما اعرف، حسيت كذا، حسيت احساس يمكن مدرب كذا، مدرب لياقه بدنيه، تعرف قسم يساعد. ليت البترول، سد السالفه، ليت البترول، سد السالفه، يلا نتلاقى يا جماعه الخير، واحد تلتع كبده لما يشوف ليت البترول. مع السلامه.